So as we are discussing the inferior surface of the liver, okay, so as you can see on the inferior surface you can find the most striking feature over here, that is the gallbladder, okay, and another are the impressions of the abdominal organs, okay. So starting from left to right as we go, so on the posterior surface we discussed there was an impression of the esophagus, the abdominal part of the esophagus over here. So on the inferior surface, this part, okay, this is the complete part which is a highly concave part, okay, and anteriorly if you see, this is the left lobe of the liver, right. So over here will be what? Your stomach. So this is the impression of the stomach, okay, you can say that it is a gastric impression, and over here there is a relation of what? The fundus and the cardiac end of the stomach. So this fundus and the cardiac end of the stomach will continue further on the right hand side as the pyloric part. So this over here, okay, over here there is the pyloric part, over here pyloric part and the first part of the duodenum, okay, over here. I will discuss that later on even, but just understand that how the stomach goes, okay. So over here there is the cardiac and the fundus end of the stomach. Over here will be the pyloric end of the stomach and the beginning of the first part of the duodenum. And over here just on the right of the duodenum, just on the right of the gallbladder, over here there will be a small impression for the duodenum, okay. So these are the parts of the stomach and the duodenum which comes into the relation of the inferior surface of the liver. So first we discussed what is the fossa of the what we say your stomach or the gastric impression. Now the second striking feature in case of the inferior lobe is what? Your this structure. So this structure is what? Your ligamentum teres, okay, ligamentum teres, okay, or the ligamentum teres hepatis. In the femur it was ligamentum teres femoris, okay. Over here it is the ligamentum teres hepatis. Now this ligamentum teres hepatis, just like the ligamentum venosum, has what structures? It has an anterior lip, anterior wall, posterior lip, posterior wall, and the floor. So the floor again is non-peritoneal. The anterior lip and the anterior wall and the posterior lip and the posterior wall, both of them are covered by the peritoneum of the greater side. How? You can see this is the ligamentum falciform ligament, okay. Now the falciform ligament on the inferior aspect, see, this is my whole of the falciform ligament, okay. On the inferior aspect, see this, okay, it continues as your ligamentum teres hepatis, okay. It will only continue as a ligamentum teres hepatis. Now this ligament in the embryological life was what? Was your left umbilical vein, okay. It was your left umbilical vein, and the left umbilical vein was joining the ductus venosus, and that ductus venosus will be bypassing the left division of the portal vein and directly opens into the inferior vena cava, okay. So this ligamentum teres hepatis contains what? Your left umbilical vein in the embryological life. But now in its floor in the adult life, it is containing what? It is containing the ligamentum teres hepatis in the floor. So the floor is non-peritoneal, but its lip are having the peritoneum of the greater sac only, okay. In case of the ligamentum venosum, it had the peritoneum of both the greater sac as well as the lesser sac, but over here it is only by the peritoneum of the greater sac, okay. Now going more on the right hand side, you find a quadrilateral shaped lobe again. Now this lobe is important. This is the quadrate lobe. So the quadrate lobe is a quadrilateral in outline, which is limited inferiorly by the inferior margin or the inferior border. On the right hand side by the fossa for the gallbladder. This is a fossa for the gallbladder. So on the right hand side it is marked by the fossa for the gallbladder. Anteriorly it is marked, or on the left hand side it is marked by what? The posterior lip and the posterior wall of the fissure of the ligamentum teres hepatis, and superiorly it is marked by the porta hepatis. This is my porta hepatis, okay. So these are the margins, you can say, of the quadrate lobe, okay. So the quadrate lobe comes into the relation of what? The pyloric end of the stomach and the first part of the duodenum. One. Second is, it is having a relation of the lesser omentum and its content. See, the lesser omentum goes like this, on the stomach. Okay, the hepatogastric part of the lesser omentum goes like this. See, the liver is like this. Okay, and from the like this it is going. Okay, the lesser omentum is going like this. So obviously this quadrate lobe comes into its relation. See, this is the quadrate lobe. Okay, this was the caudate lobe. Mind well the spelling. This was the caudate lobe. The posterior, on the posterior surface was the caudate lobe, and on the inferior surface is the quadrate lobe. Okay, so it is having an impression of the pyloric end of the stomach and the first part of the duodenum, and it is related to what? It is related to the lesser omentum. Okay, now just on the left hand side over here, see, this is my quadrate lobe, this is my left side of the quadrate lobe, this is my gastric impression over here, and just beneath the you can say your caudate lobe, and just left to the porta hepatis over here, you can find a structure over here which is lined by the lesser sac. That structure is your tuber omentale. Now this tuber omentale, okay, is directed downwards and forwards towards the tuber omentale of the pancreas. Okay, mind well, this is important. This is a tuber omentale which is directed downwards towards the tuber omentale of the pancreas. See, again I am showing you the anatomical position of the liver like this. Okay, this is my anatomical position of the liver, and over here is my tuber omentale. This part is the tuber omentale, and as you can as you all know, over here will be your pancreas, and the tuber omentale of the pancreas is facing upwards and backwards towards the tuber omentale of the liver, and this is the tuber omentale of the liver. Okay, facing downwards towards the tuber omentale of the pancreas. So this structure present over here is the tuber omentale. Now the another structure present over in the inferior surface of the liver is the porta hepatis. Now the porta hepatis is the most important structure in the liver. It is a transverse non-peritoneal fold. Okay, it is a transverse non-peritoneal fold which acts as the gateway towards the liver. In the true sense, it is not the true gateway. Why? Because the hepatic veins pierces the liver, the group for the inferior vena cava, and enters the inferior vena cava. Okay, so the porta hepatis does not mean that it is a true gateway. Okay, because certain structure pierces comes out of the liver. Example, the hepatic veins, not from the porta hepatis, it is coming directly. So in the true sense, it is not the true gateway, but books mention that it is the gateway of the liver, and the name suggests that porta means to go inside, the hepatis means liver, porta hepatis. Okay, so this is the porta hepatis. Now the what are the structures present in it, and what are the structures entering into the liver via the porta hepatis, and what are the structures going out of the porta hepatis. So now the structures entering the liver are the two divisions of the portal vein, that is the right and the left division of the portal vein. Then you have what? Your right and the left branch of the hepatic artery, okay, and the hepatic plexus of nerves. These are the three structures entering the liver via the porta hepatis. What are the structures coming out of the porta hepatis? Is the cystic duct, the right and the left hepatic duct, all the three commonly joining each other and forming what? Your common bile duct, that is the CBD. Okay, and another structure coming out is the hepatic lymphatics. Okay, so these are the structures entering, and these are the structures exiting via the porta hepatis. It is a transverse non-peritoneal fold. Okay, and it is related to what? Inferiorly over here, see, it is related to the ligamentum teres hepatis. Superiorly it is related to the ligamentum venosus. Okay, and the structures passing you have to remember from DAV, that is the from before backwards. Okay, before backwards the structures are DAV, that is the duct, artery and vein. Inside what? Inside your free margin of the lesser omentum. See, basically what happens is that over here the structures entering and exiting this porta hepatis, the structures coming out and in is forming your like this, the free margin of the lesser omentum over here like this. Okay, it is forming what? Your free margin of the lesser omentum. Now this free margin of the lesser omentum, or you can say the porta hepatis, consists of the three things: the DAV, the duct, artery and vein, which is arranged in the before backwards position. The duct are the right and the left, hepatic duct over here. Then in the free margin it is the common bile duct. Then you have the hepatic artery and you have the portal vein. Okay, so this is the free margin of the lesser omentum. Okay, this free margin is forming what? Your anterior boundary of the epiploic foramen. Okay, so the epiploic foramen just lies posterior to this free margin of the lesser omentum, and this epiploic foramen is the connection between your greater sac over here, the whole is the greater sac, and over here is the lesser sac. Okay, now I will discuss the lesser sac in a while, the epiploic foramen in a while. So this is about the fissure or the porta hepatis. Okay, this is the porta hepatis. You can identify the structures over here. See, this is the artery. Okay, this is the vein, and this is the duct. See, the duct is coming from where? This is the cystic duct. Okay, and from here coming is the hepatic ducts over here. Okay, commonly they both, all of them fuse and forms a common bile duct, which comes out via the free margin of the lesser omentum. Okay, this is my portal vein. Okay, and this is my hepatic arteries. Okay, so this is my porta hepatis, the most important part of the inferior surface of the liver. Now coming towards the processes of the caudate lobe, as I already mentioned, the processes of the caudate lobe is dealt in the inferior surface of the liver. Okay, so one process is the caudate process and another is the papillary process. Okay, so the papillary surface is present on the inframedial part. So this is the inferior part. Okay, inferior part, and on the left hand side. Okay, so this is my which process? The papillary process. Okay, the inferior and the left part is forming your papillary process, and this papillary process is related to the celiac trunk. Okay, now this part, the infro part and the lateral and the right part, this part, this process you can see, this process. Okay, this process is my caudate process. The caudate process and the caudate lobe of the liver are the part of the liver which is covered by the peritoneum of the lesser side. This caudate process forms the roof of the epiploic foramen. So the epiploic foramen, as I already mentioned, is what? Your connection between the greater sac and the lesser sac. The roof is formed by the caudate process and the peritoneum covering it. Okay, the anterior wall, you can see the anteriorly, it is related to what? The free margin of the anterior free margin of the lesser omentum. Okay, over here like this is the roof. Okay, right. The posteriorly, it is related to what? The inferior vena cava and the thoracic vertebra. So the inferior vena cava lies over here. Okay, like this. Okay, and on the side, on the left hand side, it opens into your lesser sac. Okay, so these are the boundaries of the epiploic foramen. Inferiorly, the floor of the epiploic foramen is formed by over here. What was there? Over here was the pyloric end of the stomach and the first part of the duodenum. So the floor is formed by the duodenum. Okay, so this is a structure. Over here is your epiploic foramen. If the organs were in situ, I would have shown you. Okay, like this. If the this is my, see, this is my porta hepatis, like this. Okay, this is my free margin of the lesser omentum. If this is my free anterior margin of the lesser omentum, then this is my roof formed by what? The caudate process of the caudate lobe. This is the roof of the epiploic foramen. Okay, then inferiorly over here, as I already mentioned, there is a duodenum. So the floor is formed by the duodenum. Okay, and posteriorly you have your inferior vena cava like this. Okay, it will be much more clear in the lecture, but I just mentioned the boundaries of the epiploic foramen, so it was a type of a revision. Okay, this is very, very important, the epiploic foramen. Now let us come